Hello, I'm Jack Guiragossian. I am a senior strategic pricing manager working for US Pharmacopoeia for about 2.5 years. I live in East Village and I've been a resident for 7 years. I've always had an interest to serve on the board of directors. Unfortunately, with work and life balance, haven't had the opportunity. I've had little interaction with the Montgomery Village Foundation on some things and enjoyed working with some of the folks. So I wanted to take a more proactive role, especially where volunteer work is no strange habit for me. I volunteer at my church and other community affairs. So I think it's time that I can do a little bit more to the community and the environment I've been enjoying living in for the last 7 years. So I want to take a more proactive role to offer more to the community. So this would be my first direct involvement with Montgomery Village Foundation. Now I have had some interaction with the Environment Committee over the past year on some minor issues that were happening in literally in my backyard outside of my property. And I enjoyed that interaction and we were able to work together and solve some of the issues. So that kind of gave me a flavor of things to come if I were more directly involved with the foundation. So, but overall, this will be the start of what I'm hoping to be a long and more active experience with MVF. I have an extensive background that I think brings a lot of value to the table. First and foremost, my education. I have a master's degree in business administration from University of Maryland, Smith School of Business. Combined with my career, I have a long 13-year career in the hospitality industry where there was a lot of volunteer work involved, coupled with my professional background. And last but not least, I have over almost 20 years experience serving on the board of my church. And so volunteer work and serving the community is no strange habit for me. Like I said earlier, I'd like to bring that, extend that to the MVF community. So a lot of my background, specifically as the treasurer of the church on the board, I think I can bring a lot of value and experience in some of the issues that MVF may have or can improve on. As many foundations, I'm sure there are many issues that, and just as a habit of mine, everything is a priority. Every issue in life, I believe, should take priority approach. Having been not so actively involved in the foundation from my exterior experience, I think there are three key areas I think we can focus on or start looking at. One is having an optimum budget. Coming from a finance background, that's very important to me. I believe in having an optimum budget where we can provide the most value to the community with minimal costs. Another key issue would be to look at some of the enforcement of architectural standards. Although MVF does a great job of maintaining that balance, sometimes it's a challenge to enforce those architectural standards. So I would want to look at some of the things we can do better to better enforce those architectural standards to maintain a good quality of life. And then last but not least, increased improvement to common areas, the parks and the recreational areas of Montgomery Village, just an overall proactive approach of maintaining a better standard so that there's a better balance between wildlife and the community as well. So I have some ideas on how we can better implement those concerns. One is to do more frequent RFPs and into contracts, maintenance contracts, taking a more proactive approach rather than to wait till an issue to arise and then trying to remedy it. Another approach would be to, as far as the architectural standards are concerned, maybe take a look at the frequency of um, inspections. Maybe we can do it. I believe today it's done on semi-annual basis. Maybe we can look into doing a quarterly basis, and more coupled with more frequent follow-ups on how those issues are corrected and fixed. And then finally, having a more professional consultation on some of the issues while keeping in mind a balanced budget. It's always best to, we have as humans, we have a tendency to think that we know how to fix a problem when sometimes a more professional consultation might be required. So trying to get a better balance between using common sense to fix problems versus hiring a contractor that can come in and find the root of the main cause of a problem and then remedy it that way so that we can prevent further issues. I believe when it comes to diversity, I bring a greater value to the table than some other candidates might, in that I come from a diverse background myself. I was born in the Middle East and raised there till I was 13 in Syria, but I am Armenian. So I had to blend in Arabic culture. And then having moved to the States about 30 years ago, I also had to adapt to the American culture, as well as all the diversity that's around me here in Montgomery Village. I truly thrive on that and have enjoyed some of the value that diversity brings to one's career and all the options I've had in my life. But with that growth, I've come to appreciate and learn how to deal with different diverse cultures. So one of the things that I would do is have more engagements, as I do in my cul-de-sac today, with some of the neighbors who are also diverse, listen to what they have to say and get their engagement and pay attention to some of the things that they might be sensitive to that my culture might not be to. So not only, I'd like to expand that, if should I get elected to the board, I'd like to expand that not only to my street, but further in the East Village community, as well as some of the board members in MVF, to just have more opportunity to listen to the community and to pay attention to some of the different diverse backgrounds some of the folks have, and to try and get them involved, get them engaged, because the more diversity, the more engagement by those diverse groups, the better MVF will be overall for the community. I'm a diehard supporter of the wildlife policy. First and foremost, for selfish reasons, I actually enjoy some of the wildlife that's around me here. When I sit up on my porch in the evenings, I've seen deers, rabbits, foxes, owls. We have a frequent visitor, a hawk. So, you know, I'm sensitive to them. I do believe in coexistence with them. One of the things I do actually in my personal backyards, sometimes leave the fence doors open because the deer will try and hop through my backyard, and rather than have them hop, and sometimes they'll hit their legs to the fence. It's just easier if the door is open, they can just walk through. My family also enjoys the wildlife. My kids, we very seldom we go down to the ponds and enjoy the geese and the ducks. Excuse me. So one of the things that's definitely a sensitive topic for me. One of the things that I would do is possibly have more enforcement of keeping speed under control in the area. I do see that the community is very sensitive to the geese and the ducks when they're crossing traffic stops. However, accidents do still happen. So I'd like to do my part to try and minimize that, to have possibly some speed cameras or more enforcement of the authority to try and keep traffic more manageable, and not only for the wildlife safety, but also the community. And as a person of interest in that, whenever I'm out in the common areas of the recreations, I always make it a habit to pick up some of the trash that sometimes is laid around to avoid wildlife from trying to nibble at it. So definitely an important topic that I'd like to take an active role in continuously improving it. I think Montgomery Village is on a great trajectory. I've seen it grow in the last 7 years, and there's definitely no stopping that. One of the things I'd like to see is to have more engagement between businesses and some of the community events we do, where we can have businesses have more direct involvement as far as sponsorships of activities, both financially as well as activity wise. I think that promotes not only a good culture in the environment, but also it'll be good for the businesses that are starting to increase in the area. I'd like to see for that to increase over the next few years, with Lidl being the latest addition and the revamping of Montgomery Village Shopping Center. I think those are great projects, and I'd like to see more of that. And trying to do my part within the board to trying to promote whatever we need to do to possibly encourage businesses to establish themselves within Montgomery Village, which will also lead to additional employment to community members. Yeah, I'd like to just say that I'm very passionate in whatever that I commit myself to, and certainly, should I get elected, the MVF, being on the board of MVF, would be treated no differently. Um, I would soon prove to be a very valuable asset to the board. I'm a team player as well as a good contributor in anything that I get involved in. I believe with my education background and my professional career, as well as my lifetime commitment to volunteer work, I believe I would make a great addition to the wonderful team of folks that have been serving the community for a very long time. So I appreciate your vote.